Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, how do you feel about actually being at Graceland to do this whole event here?
It's kind of crazy, it's kind of surreal. You never think that, I was sitting at the little picnic yesterday with Priscilla and Lisa Marie and Riley. And I was sitting there, and I know Riley. I worked with Riley. It was one of my first jobs, was working with Riley in this movie. And yeah, and I didn't know who she was at the time. So being here is kind of, it's so cool. It's cool. It's just, yeah, it's cool.
So have you had a chance to tour Graceland yet? Or your first experience was at the house last night?
Yeah, it was my first. I haven't had it. Yeah, because I got here a couple nights ago, and so my first experience was seeing what's it called, the Jungle Room?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was wild. Apparently they recreated it in the movie, but it didn't make the cut. But it was cool sitting in there. I was like, okay, this is a piece of history. I'm just sitting here chewing my gum. Like nothing's nothing new. Everything's fine.
So speaking of the family, how did it make you feel to be in the presence of the Presleys and knowing their reaction to the movie?
I mean, I feel like that's the biggest validation you can get from doing a movie like this, is to have them say that. I don't know. I can only imagine what that is like for them, what this whole experience has been like for them, and how scary it could be. But it's so validating just to hear that they feel the love and the care and the sensitivity that everyone in the movie had towards this man that they all loved and respected, and they've worked so hard to continue his legacy and in the best way possible. So it's an honor to get that reaction, and I'm really grateful that I get to be a part of this moment with them.
Were you an Elvis fan before being a part of this movie?
I mean, obviously everyone's kind of an Elvis fan. We kind of like, when we sign up to be born, you know what I mean? Like if you love music, you kind of go, well, I also love Elvis Presley. But I wasn't as familiar with him until I did the movie. And so this was a little bit of a crash course on all things Elvis as well, from doing the movie. But yeah.
Was there anything you learned by being involved in this film that might have changed your mind about Elvis Presley?
I don't know if I changed my mind. I don't know if I had really too many preconceived ideas of him. I just had like a overall idea of like, oh, Elvis, the icon, and not necessarily Elvis the man. So I guess in that way, I definitely got to see a little bit more of where he came from, and very little, and how much he was able to create for himself, and his relationship with his mother, and just you see him more as a young man coming into the stardom, and how overwhelming that could be, but how brave he was to be able to still maintain his sense of identity and self and the things that inspired him. And that became really cool, especially as a young artist watching another artist. You go, wow, half of artistry, or almost 80-90% of it, is just being true to yourself as the artist. And that was really cool. So, yeah.
What does it say about Elvis Presley to have a movie done 45 years after his passing? What does that mean? The magnitude and the effect on pop culture? I mean...
It's just really, it's like, a lot of people have tried. And to be able to not only have it done 45 years later, but have it done right, is a huge moment. And I think it not only allows every generation to get a piece of nostalgia, but also introduce to a new generation of who this man is, and tie it all back together into a celebration of music, American culture, and unity. And I think what's so special too about what I love about my part in this is being with B.B. King is seeing the power of the brotherhood, and loving each other and supporting each other, and giving advice to each other and hanging out with each other. I think that's really exciting. I think what people will get from this movie is this doesn't work unless we all act as a family. So yeah.